Marty Stevens, practitioner. Marty Stevens, practitioner. Practitioner Jolene Bainey. Practitioner Karin Blakely. Practitioner Tina Vlassi. Practitioner Marianne Wilkinson. Practitioner Janet Gottschall. Practitioner Emeritus. Practitioner Darlene Britton. Practitioner Linda Louise. Practitioner Vernice Reyes. Practitioner Ron Treno. Practitioner Gina Zamora. Chaplain Joy Lovejoy, Yuma. Reverend James Peake, Minister at Large. Reverend Glenn Swain, Heartfelt Farewells, Focus Ministry. Reverend Dr. Sherry McCreary, Senior Minister, Creative Living Fellowship. Reverend Janice Farmer, Senior Minister, CSL Tucson. Reverend Jeffrey Ryan, Senior Minister, Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Karin Russo, leader of the Money Keys Ministry. Catherine McDowell, minister, founding minister, East Valley Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Sonia Byrne, Executive Director, Centers for Spiritual Living. Reverend Kathleen Sibley, Senior Minister, CSL Prescott. Reverend Dr. Michelle Madrano, Lead Minister, Mile High Church. And Reverend Lezli Goodwin. And Reverend Karin Lewis.
Good evening. Welcome to New Vision Center for Spiritual Living. It is so wonderful to see you all here tonight. My name is Jeff Hargis. I am a practitioner here at this center, and I have been honored with the task of being your MC for tonight. And there is a lot of people that I want to thank, but I'll keep it to a minimum. I do want to thank everybody for being here tonight, and especially those of you that have come from far and away to be here with us in this amazing celebration tonight. So thank you all for being here. It's an honor. So, we have a very rich history here at New Vision Center. It is a 30-year amount of history that we have built up here, and something tonight that is a little bit different than what we have done in the past in our installations is we have kind of a different model that we are going to. So not only are we inducting one, but we are calling forth co-senior ministers to this center. So they represent the 5th and the 6th senior minister in the history of this center. New Vision Center's vision statement is revealing the power of love. And one of the things that we are tremendously proud of here is that we consider ourselves a radically inclusive community. And so basically what that means is we just take really good care of each other. And regardless of what you come here with, whatever that is, when you walk through those doors into this sanctuary, you are absolutely included in everything. You are absolutely loved. So I want to welcome you all here in this amazing evening tonight. For some of you that have never been to this kind of thing before, let me give you a little bit of a definition of what we do. An installation is a ceremony to formally recognize that a Centers for Spiritual Living center and a minister or ministers are entering into a type of covenant relationship with one another. And I was talking to a guy from the men's group a month ago, and he had come up to me and he was like, "So what are we installing?" And he says, "Should I bring some tools?" And as a ministerial student myself who is steeped in the art of metaphor, I had to take hold of that and draw some connection to it because a covenant is a two-way contract that we are creating with ourselves. Yes, tonight we are charging and celebrating our two amazing ministers in their call. And at the same time, all of us are stepping into an agreement that you two are not alone. We are absolutely here to bring our unique tools into this community to create this amazing, thriving, loving, healing community. So we are in this together, and we are here tonight to celebrate. Does that sound good? So I would like to welcome up to the stage for our invocation the founder of the Money Keys and beloved member of this community. Please help me welcome Reverend Karin Russo.
So let us pray. If you're comfortable, close an eye, relax. Yes. So how sweet it is for us to recognize the truth that the infinite is an all-in yes. So I just rise up in my own awareness to recognize that God is infinite love, great wisdom, divine intelligence, unending supply, and God is here and now as each one of us. Standing in that remembrance and that recognition It is my honor to declare, accept, and claim that tonight's installation is blessed. What I affirm is that each brings a tool belt full of exactly what is needed for celebration, for introspection, for love, for agreement. I bless the beautiful Reverend Lezli, the powerful Reverend Karin, and what I see, sense, and know is that their ministry is a gift not only to the New Vision Center, but to life itself. I also echo what has been stated, that this is a covenant between souls who have agreed to support, to walk, to journey together so that the New Vision Center is lifted up, and because we are all connected, we lift the world. I also call in such high regard every volunteer, artist, worker, practitioner, member, friend, neighbor, blessing our beloved communities, our brother and sister communities here in the Valley and beyond, really knowing that this is a community experience where the good of God reveals. So we are blessed. I give thanks for this. I release this prayer, trusting the perfect action of God's law. And in agreement, we say, and so it is. And please help me welcome Reverend Catherine McDowell.
Isn't this fun? Don't you love a party? Well, somebody really knew how to party in Science of Mind at the very beginning, and that was a fellow named Ernest Holmes. He enjoyed parties. He enjoyed having friends over, and I'm very pleased to read this evening something that clearly defines his life, his and Hazel's. It defines the purpose of Science of Mind. It also is a writing that has been in every single one of the Science of Mind textbooks since 1926. I think that's a million or more, wouldn't you say? And even more than that, it is specific to this evening because it acknowledges the open arm inclusiveness of New Vision Center and of these wonderful ministers that are here to take it to places unknown. So I'm happy to express this with you tonight. It's called Peace Be Unto Thee, Stranger. Peace be unto thee, stranger. Enter and be not afraid. I've left the gate open, and thou art welcome to my home. There is room in my house for all, and I have swept the hearth and lighted the fire. The room is warm and cheerful, and you will find comfort and rest within. The table is laid, and the fruits of life are spread on it. The wine is here also. It sparkles in the light. I have set a chair for you where the sunbeams dance through the shade. Sit, rest, and refresh your soul. Eat of the fruit, drink of the wine. All is yours, and you are welcome. And such is the nature of our spiritual journeys at hand. And I do believe now we have some wonderful music for us. Thank you.
Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? I find my worth in love. I find my identity. The truth is I am loved when I can't feel a thing. The truth is I am strong when I think I am weak. The truth is I am held when I am falling short. When I don't belong, the truth is I am whole. And I believe, yes I believe, what God thinks of me. Oh, I believe. Taking all I have and now I'm laying it at God's feet. I surrender every failure, I surrender every victory. The truth is I am loved and I can't feel a thing. The truth is I am strong when I think I am weak. The truth is I am held when I am falling short. When I don't belong, truth is I am whole. And I believe, yes I believe, what God says of me. Oh, I believe, yes I believe, oh I believe, my own divinity. Oh,
Thank you, Cerise and Divine Groove. We have with us tonight Reverend Janice Farmer, who is the Senior Minister of Center for Spiritual Living Tucson in Tucson, Arizona. And we have Reverend Jeffrey Ryan, who is the Senior Minister at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living in Riverside, California. Please help me welcome them to the platform to share the Declaration of Principles.
You want to start? We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God.
We believe in the incarnation of the Spirit in humankind, and that all people are incarnations of the one Spirit.
We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding.
We believe that the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven is within us, and that we experience this kingdom to the degree that we become conscious of it.
We believe that the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all.
We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is the one God.
We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence.
We believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God.
We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thoughts and acts upon it.
We believe in the healing of the sick through the power of this mind.
We believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind.
We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all.
We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that the life of all is God.
And now to share letters from dignitaries that were unable to be with us here this evening, please help me welcome to the platform the Executive Director of Centers for Spiritual Living and Reverend Karin and Reverend Leslie's classmate, Reverend Sonia Byrne.
Thank you. Well, I lovingly bring greetings from home office. First of all, every new minister is a star in the sky that is this global, international, worldly idea that is the Centers for Spiritual Living. And every minister brings their own way of being in that role. And I think that is certainly true for your two ministers. You know, I'm called to the other great metaphysical teachers and a couple that are fairly common that work together, Donnie and Marie Osmond, who said, I'm a little bit country and I'm a little bit rock and roll, you know? Yeah. So while we are in this place of knowing that Lezli and Karin might appear differently, might have different ways of being, that their unified belief, their unified purpose is to be here with you folks, to be in this wonderful center. And so I lovingly bring greetings from their friends. And I am lovingly bringing greetings from their friends. I notice Jeff has left the building. And I have a few more jokes. But perhaps what we can do is I will come back up after we hear from the Reverend Dr. Michelle Medrano, who I understand has a very, very close connection with this personal, loving, wonderful community present here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. There's no letters there, Sonia. Yeah. It's great to. Here he comes. You want to go? Should I go? I'll go. We've been waiting for you forever. Did you have to run down to Ahwatukee for those, or what? Thank you for bringing them back for us. Thank you, thank you. So it's great to be here in your presence. I'm very moved and touched by this evening. For those of you who I've known for so many years, I'm so grateful to see you. I expect and anticipate a lot of hugging tonight and a lot of celebrating and reconnecting. And for those of you I have yet to meet, I'm happy and proud to, in that lineage that Jeff mentioned, to have been the second minister, senior minister here at New Vision Center for 17 years, and very grateful for that time. Very grateful. Yeah. Those are extremely important years to me in many, many ways. And the faces that I see here in this place are a part of that importance in my life and in the life of this community and in the life of our teaching here in the Valley of the Sun. And they are important years because the two beloveds whom we are installing tonight have been a huge part of my heart and of the ministry that I get to serve. So it's really quite lovely. I don't know how in the world I'm going to do the remarks I really want to do in the hour they've given me to speak. It's going to be very difficult, but I'll do my best. And like Jeff said, I was contemplating this term that we call this thing we're doing tonight, the installation, and its meaning. And I love that he defined it for us and helped us to see what is the purpose of it. And you're going to see some more ritual and ceremony later on that really harkens the opportunity that they have to really be installed officially. But there's some interesting things about it. Number one, they've already been serving quite powerfully in their roles in this community for a bit of time now. And so a ritual like this gives us a chance as a community to mark the time, to stop together and say, okay, it's for reals now. This is for reals, right? And it's a beautiful thing for them as ministers, and it's a beautiful thing for a community to walk through these kind of rituals together to mark that time. It means a lot. So thank you for being here and being part of that. And it also is an interesting term that we use, installing ministers, right? And as Jeff was saying, it has such it has potential for metaphor, and it also has such a meaning for let's install things, let's put something up, like Bob the Builder, or something like that. And so I was thinking about that term myself and very aware of the metaphor recently that my husband Ken and I just got done installing a new kitchen into our home. We bought an elderly home in Lakewood, Colorado, and we've been waiting for a long time to install a new kitchen. And we recently went through that process, and it was very much like ministry and community. It was very beautiful and amazing and fascinating journey, and lots of surprises and twists and turns. And so there's a couple things that I want to use in that metaphor tonight to speak to our community here and to speak to my wonderful friends. So the first part of installation in a kitchen or in a home has to do with something that's really difficult at times. It's called demolition, right? It's learning to stand in front of something that you want to see be reborn or see be different, and have the courage and the spiritual chutzpah, if you will, to take the steps to even begin to contemplate the idea of demolishing things. And then what we know in a home or in a heart or in a ministry, you can't just grab a sledgehammer and go around smashing things. That is very damaging to the structure and very damaging to the process, and can bring forth even greater surprises that one might not expect, and things spewing everywhere and falling apart, and is not the most elegant way. Demolition is a part of the process of transformation, but always keep in mind, as ministers, as leaders, and as a community, that demolition has to be done with conscious awareness. As I say this, I do so in the full remembrance of a whole bunch of that fiberglass stuff that they put in the ceilings falling down upon my face in the middle of an installation as my husband was up in the crawl space demolishing things. And unexpectedly found myself eating insulation, and and I think back, and there were very many moments, have been, will be, continue to be moments like that in ministry. Oh my goodness, look what happened here. Didn't expect that, right? You know it, the ministers, yeah, you know it. All of you on the leadership council, you know it, right? Moments of shock and awe and surprise when we thought we had this elegant plan. And so keep in mind that it's a good thing to go through this process, but do so with love. and understand that a huge part of the role of a spiritual leader in calling all of us into our greater yet to be is to invite us to demolish our old mental equivalents, our old worn out ideas, our own ennui about moving forward in our life individually and collectively. And so just understand that they must, part of their charge as spiritual leaders is to invite us into transformation and consider that demolition process holy and sacred and a part of it. And then comes the next opportunity to start to rebuild, to plan. To plan. Oh, to plan. Yes. What's that quote about we plan and then God laughs? Things like that. Yeah. Planning is a huge part of what we have to do, but we all know that no matter how much we plan, there are surprises, there are twists, there are turns, and that is a huge part of community, of life, of ministry, of leadership. It's to be in the co-creative process of planning and moving forward and choosing consciously directions, and standing as leaders is a very vulnerable position, because in that process of leading and being a part of the plan and saying, let's all go that way, there are times that it won't work out. There are times that it'll work out better than you ever imagined. And part of what happens when we walk together as a community is that we get a chance to be in that process and use the metaphor of the installation and of the ministry to support us in our own lives. And as we do that, we can see that beauty that we couldn't even have begun to imagine can often emerge that we had planned and that we hadn't planned. And that's an important element, is to constantly stop and see the beauty of these faces that you get to serve, the beauty of your own self and your own heart. I walk into my new kitchen now and stand there and think, oh, it's so beautiful. I love it. It was hard. It was a journey, but it's installed, and now it will continue to evolve. And so it's important to see that beauty. When I announced that I was stepping away from serving this community of New Vision Center, I find it interesting that the number one thing that you all said to me is, I always took it for granted that you'd be here forever. So as I stand here tonight, I want to say to every spiritual community and every group of people who gather together, who love one another and want to be part of each other's lives, don't take it for granted. If this place, if this ministry serves you, show up, be here, be part of it. Help these beautiful leaders know that you stand with them and that you support them, that you love them. And serve and give and cheer them on and urge them to take care of themselves, to continue to build their own heart and their own ministry. And to the two of you, I want you to understand that you are so special to me. I met Reverend Karin. I was doing a radio show many years ago, an AM radio show that Larry Hartstein helped make happen. Love you, Larry. And I always said that the best thing that came out of that radio show was Karin Lewis, who showed up, who was driving around Phoenix, listening to us talking on the radio, and showed up here to church and never left. Thank you, Jesus, as they would say. And to beautiful Lezli, having time to be with you in all those years of classes and watching you grow and bloom and watching your beautiful energy and your red hair bouncing all over, showing up, being so much a part of our community and so much a part of the fabric. Both of you have woven yourself into the life of this wonderful community and are here to serve each other so well and serve this community so well. And I couldn't be more happy to stand here tonight and be part of installing you. You are a beautiful installation, a gorgeous installation in every way, shape, and form that we will never take for granted, and we are so grateful for you. And please understand that in co-ministry, you're basically work wives now, right? Keep your relationship clean. Stand with each other. Be a force for good for one another and for this community, because co-ministry can and does work, and I have every confidence that it most certainly can with the two of you. Creative, loving, centered, powerful, magnificent beings. And then what happens, if we go back to our kitchen metaphor, is that you begin to serve beautiful, beautiful meals. Soul food, if you will, right? Soul food that serves you and serves this community and truly serves us all wherever we may be. I love you both. I am so happy and so proud to stand here with you and be a part of this beautiful moment. And I love you, New Vision Center. I demand hugs later. Thank you.
So I was told when I entered ministry that I would need to be able to be flexible and have a sense of humor. So we go back to our elegant plan. I bring you greetings both from colleagues of Reverend Karin and Reverend Lezli, as well as my colleagues in the executive team for Centers for Spiritual Living. So from Reverend Colleen Tanaka, Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas, I want to express my sincere congratulations to you, Reverend Karin and Reverend Lezli, and your beloved community. Being installed as co-ministers this evening is a beautiful blessing for both of you and a blessing to those you serve. It is an inspiration to witness your spectacular partnership, how each of you is thriving in your shared ministry. I am grateful to have walked the path to ministry with you both at the Holmes Institute and to love and support you in your call. I'm so sorry I cannot celebrate with you in person, and I'm sending you and your community lots of love. I am lifting you all in prayer. From Reverend Bobby Becker, Senior Minister, Namaste Center for Spiritual Living, Long Beach, beloved New Vision Center for Spiritual Living, and Reverends Karin Lewis and Lezli Goodwin. Congratulations and blessings on your mutual choice to come together in sacred partnership and communion with New Vision and intention for such an amazing spiritual community. On behalf of Namaste Center for Spiritual Living, we give our highest kudos to you all and your new spiritual directors and co-senior ministers, our deepest blessings on crossing the threshold into the highest unfolding. Best to you all. And from Reverend Laura Hallett, Center for Spiritual Living, St. George, Utah, richest blessings. It is with absolute joy that I celebrate with New Vision Center for Spiritual Living the installation of their senior ministers, Reverend Lezli Goodwin and Reverend Karin Lewis. I have accompanied these beloved women through their ministerial training and watched as they dedicatedly devoted themselves to the development of their individual consciousnesses. New Vision CSL has already been richly blessed by their deep and transformative brightness, their beingness, and I know it will expand in profound and amazing ways through their dedicated co-leadership. Congratulations, New Vision CSL and Reverend Karin and Reverend Lezli. And now from Dr. Kathy Hearn, the manager of the School of Spiritual Leadership, known as the Dean of Deans. Dearest Reverend Karin and Reverend Lezli, it is a great joy for me to contribute these words of congratulations, love, and appreciation to you this evening. I join with the hearts and voices around you, acknowledging and celebrating you for your formal installation as co-senior ministers of New Vision Center for Spiritual Living. You are being celebrated tonight because you have answered the call of God upon your lives. I think I can hear her voice saying this. It was an honor to have witnessed and shared a part of your paths that have led to this evening. You were excellent students, filled with consciousness, conviction, powerful perceptions, and mighty intentions. You walked through the rigors of ministerial training and the demands of your own personal unfoldment to arrive here. You said yes to co-leadership in a time of profound change in your community, and thus have established a vital and vibrant model of ministry that many are noticing and considering. As women of spirit, you are bringing all that you are and all that you have learned and gained to the work of deeply loving and soundly leading your congregation. And I know that you and the people of New Vision are mutually and deeply blessed. So marvelous things are unfolding at New Vision, and I accept that a pathway of light stretches before you, and that Spirit is meeting, guiding, and directing every single step you take in the revelation of greater and greater good. Love to you, Dr. Kathy Hearn. And then we have a note from our Reverend Dr. Sharon Hudson, the field leader for Centers for Spiritual Living. Dear Reverend Karin and Reverend Lezli, it is a joy to send congratulations to you and your community on your installation as senior co-ministers of New Vision Center for Spiritual Living. The coming together of a community with their new spiritual leaders creates a sacred partnership and is indeed a cause for celebration. I join you in celebrating this union. I know your community is blessed to have you as their spiritual leaders. You are both bright lights in the world, and I know that you are lighting up the world with your spiritual presence, leadership, love, and wisdom. Keep on shining. My heart is with you, even though I cannot be there in person. I send love and blessings to you and the New Vision community. You are vital to our mission of awakening humanity to its magnificence and creating a world that works for all. Thank you. With deep love, Sharon Hudson. And lastly, from our beloved spiritual leader, Dr. Ken Gordon, for Reverend Lezli Goodwin and Reverend Karin Lewis. Please know that I am ecstatic. Nothing grabs my attention more than the installation of a minister. The dedication, vision, and spiritual discipline that it takes to accomplish what you have done is monumental. All of the world owes you congratulations. The work you have begun, the work you have done to get here, and the work you will do is more than a good idea. It is absolutely essential to the well-being of life. Thank you. Please know that we, that is the Leadership Council of Centers for Spiritual Living, and myself know that you are the crucible in which the consciousness and soul of work resides. We also know that this consciousness is a reflection of not only what is present now, but also an awakening to something even grander. My deep gratitude goes out to you for the marvelous manifestation that you have so generously achieved, and I know that your congregation not only shares the marvelous effect, they also share the same magnificent presence. Please know that you are loved and honored. Dr. Ken Gordon. Thank you.
So, God laughs when we plan things, right? My apologies to you. She asked me to hole punch the letters, and somewhere between punching the holes and here, I just saw some squirrels and didn't bring them back. And I may be hearing about this for a very, very long time. And we didn't get a really good opportunity to introduce our musicians today. We have an amazing house band here with us. It is my pleasure once again to introduce Jack Saba on guitar, Michael De La Torre on bass, Cleve Huff on drums, directed tonight by Larry Hartstein on the keys, and joined by the stunning, inspiring vocals of Cerise Patron.
to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has her being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has her being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has her being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has her being. God shows
Thank you, Cerise. Thank you, Divine Groove. And now, we have reached the point. We have been brought, that has brought us all here together tonight, the formal installation of our two senior ministers, representing Centers for Spiritual Living and our regional support coordinator, a role that includes mentoring, problem solving, and a great deal of prayer. Thank you so much. Please help me welcome Senior Minister of the Center for Spiritual Living Prescott in Prescott, Arizona, Reverend Kathleen Sibley.
Thank you, sir. Jeff? Just kidding. Okay. Now everyone be serious. Good luck with that. Ministers. You guys don't call them Board of Trustees, do you? You are the Leadership Council. Licensed practitioners, congregation, and friends. We are gathered here today to install these ministers of religious science as the official ministers of this member center. Official notification has been received by the Centers for Spiritual Living in Golden, Colorado, that Reverends Karin Lewis and Lezli Goodwin have been duly chosen to be the senior ministers of New Vision Center for Spiritual Living here in the Valley of the Sun. As ministers of religious science, they act in a threefold capacity in fulfilling this ministerial office. They serve as ministers to the congregation and counselors to all who come to them for help and guidance. They are the spiritual leader of the people and have sole charge of the ecclesiastic functions of the center, the conduct of spiritual services, the performance of all ministerial functions, the direction of the youth program, the selection of junior center personnel and curriculum, the pastoral supervision of the ministry of prayer, and the privilege of ministering to the spiritual needs of this congregation. They serve as official and accredited teachers of religious science under the authority of a charter granted to this center by the Leadership Council of the Centers for Spiritual Living in Golden, Colorado. Every minister of religious science must first have received license and recognition as a practitioner before she may be licensed or ordained as a minister. Therefore, she always serves as a practitioner to the needs of the people when the call is made. I now present to the Leadership Council and this congregation Reverends Lezli Goodwin and Karin Lewis to be duly installed as the official ministers of this center. And I'll ask you both to come up. Sister friends, earlier you heard our declaration of principles. Do you accept these principles and promise to adhere to them and make them the basis of your teachings? Just agree with me, you know it always works better. I was so going to be serious. Do you so consecrate yourselves to this ministry that you will do your utmost at all times to reflect the Christ within in all that you think, say, and do? Do you so dedicate yourselves that you will be constantly aware of the Spirit within all people, and that you will, including you guys, and that you will see only the perfect spiritual person, perfect in mind, body, and in spirit? Do you promise to minister faithfully and lovingly to the people now committed to your charge, and to seek ever to be an example of moderation, patience, and loving kindness? Then may the infinite Spirit, which empowers you to do all these things, grace you with the strength faithfully to perform the same, and to live the vision of this center and the vision of the Centers for Spiritual Living. Amen. I'm going to ask you to stand up here and accept the vows of those who will be supporting you. Members of New Vision Center for Spiritual Living, we now present to you those individuals who have been duly elected to serve on your Leadership Council. Not only do these Leadership Council members oversee the business affairs of your center, but their individual and collective awareness establishes a consciousness for the entire congregation. I will ask them now to stand. Beloveds, do you promise to follow the light of truth, seeking at all times to be aware of what is right rather than who is right? Do you accept Reverends Karin and Lezli as your ministers and as spiritual leaders and teachers? Thank you. You may be seated. Practitioners, I'll ask you to stand now. This is the healing arm and the teaching arm of this community. Your ministers know and understand the role of the licensed practitioner as part of the ecclesiastical team, establishing and maintaining a continual consciousness of the spiritual vision of this center. You also carry out most of your work in the great and powerful silence. The fruits of this work are manifested as demonstrations in the lives of yourselves, your clients, and your center. Do you now consecrate yourself to this spiritual vision and activity? Can you promise that at all times it will be obvious where your commitment is? Do you accept Reverends Larry? Lezli and Karin. Oh, girls, we got to talk boundaries. As your ministers and as spiritual leaders and teachers. Thank you. You may be seated. And now I will ask those members and those who consider New Vision their home to stand. You also get to make vows tonight. You are part of this covenant. You are the voice of the center. You are the ambassadors of religious science in this community. You are the backbone as the volunteers giving service. Do you promise to uphold and practice the principles of the science of mind movement, moment by moment? If you have a differing opinion, let's try that again. When you have a differing opinion, do you promise to meditate first, think second, and speak last? Do you promise to give of your time, talent, and treasure to this beloved activity known as New Vision Center? Do you accept Reverend Lezli and Karin as your ministers and as spiritual leaders and teachers? Yes. Thank you. You may be seated. Reverends, through the authority vested in me by the Centers for Spiritual Living Golden, Colorado, and acting on behalf of this congregation, I do install you here and now as ministers and spiritual leaders of the New Vision Center for Spiritual Living, with all the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining to your office. Teach, heal, minister to these people, and may peace be with you both. We're not done yet. You know, there is more to this. I will now ask the ministers present to please stand. And because I've never been good at scripts, I'm going to ask you to come up here and surround your colleagues. Get in the middle. Come on now. None of us can do this job alone. And thank God none of us have to. As colleagues, do you promise to give of your friendship, your love, and your spiritual support to these ministers?
I do.
Just bask in that for a moment. Lezli and Karin, do you promise to accept that love and support on good days and in bad, when you are Mother Teresa or Mommy Dearest? We love you, both of you, just as you are and just as you are not. And we accept you into this brother and sisterhood. You may all be seated. Not up here. And now we have, you may be seated as well. And now we have yet another wonderful chance to hear from Cerise.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Oh, love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Oh, love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Oh, love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. Oh, and once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Oh, love is my decision. It's my decision right here and now. It's my decision right here and now.
Oh, how blessed we are. How blessed we are. Thank you so much. Well, we thought it would be a good idea if Reverend Lezli and I would take a moment and say a couple words. I don't know how good of an idea that was, but here we go. So we entered into some vows. We entered into a covenant relationship, and I would like to add a few. To my family, I vow balance. I vow that I become and be and continue to be available. To be your mom, your friend. I vow balance. And to my beloved co-minister, I vow clarity. You will always know where I stand, right behind you. I vow clarity. To my community, I vow devotion, that I will do every day the work so that I may be ready to serve you and to be there for you. And to myself, I vow loving kindness for those moments when I stumble, and I will stumble. When I get back up, I will do so with loving kindness to myself. I love you all. Thank you. I'm going to bring up beloved Lezli.
Both Reverend Karin and I are criers, as you well know. And a little ways into this process, Reverend Sonia leaned over and said, "Did you only bring one tissue? Because it has dissolved." Reverend Karin and I have walked this very interesting path together of showing up at New Vision Center at about the same time and graduating as practitioners as part of the same class and entering ministerial school at the same time and graduating from ministerial school again as part of the same class. And something that we heard over and over and over in ministerial school is church is dying. Church is dying. Young families don't go to church anymore. You won't have kids in your youth program. People don't come on Sunday. They don't want to come on Sunday. And I hear giggles out there because perhaps we shouldn't tell the 7 new young families with children that have come to our center since this summer that young families don't come to church anymore. Perhaps we shouldn't tell the 32% more people that are attending on Sundays that people don't want to get up on Sunday morning. Maybe the old model is dying. The old model of you have to be a certain way and look a certain way and act a certain way, or you can't come here because you won't fit in. That's dying. That's dying. And good riddance. We don't need it anyway. But right now, this very moment, people are watching this installation on 4 continents. So blessings and love to Karin's family and friends in Germany, to our friends in South Korea, to our friends in the Middle East, to our friends in Africa that are watching, and all over Europe. Because there has never been a better time to touch the lives that want this message. Because we're live streaming every service. And there are people all over the world that consider themselves a part of New Vision Center because we've made that a thing that can happen. People told us in ministerial school, co-ministry can't work. Can't work. Somebody has to be the boss. It can't happen. Tell that to Mile High Church, the largest religious science church in the world. Well, okay. Dr. Michelle's definitely the boss. Sorry, Josh. Who are modeling beautiful co-ministry. And centers all over the country that are learning that to be sustainable, to honor those pledges that Reverend Karin made, we have to take care of each other and not work 90 hours a week. You think that's an exaggeration, my friends. It isn't. So that we can love you with loving kindness, so that we can love each other with loving kindness, so that we can do our spiritual work, because if we don't, you don't really want to know us. And we don't want to know each other if we're not prayed up. So to my family who have had my back, even though I went to get a master's degree in another state while 3 of you were still in high school. Thank you for understanding. And to my husband who makes all things possible, we see you and how amazing you are. And to the, yeah. To the leadership of this community, past and present, who saw that this was a possibility worth exploring, to not graduated yet ministerial students, and took a chance on the new kids. Thank you for seeing us. We love you all so much. I'm about ready to party. And so I hand this back over to our beloved Jeff.
So thank you all for being with us tonight. It's been an honor having you present in this celebration. I want to thank Cerise and the Divine Groove. Thank you all for being here. We are not even close to being done with this celebration. So join us in the breezeway immediately following this. And for now, please remain seated as the ministers recess. And before the ministers do that, I'm just going to do a closing prayer. So please join me. And so as we step into this amazing presence, that presence that says love, that presence that says healing, that presence that says joy, we recognize at every moment that we are a part of this thing that we call love and presence. And it is coming from this place that I speak a word of gratitude for all that is unfolded here tonight. Even in the flaws, there is God. I give grateful thanks for all that have put a hand of service into this installation. I give grateful thanks for the musicians. I give grateful thanks for the ministers. I give grateful thanks for all that have shed a tear in celebration of this community, where it is all good. And so with this, I release this word of gratitude and of joy into universal action and law, knowing that it is good, knowing that it is done. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you all. Good night.